Okay, let's just go back to the first one. All right. Hello, everyone. Our presentation today is the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook and why every business should. I should start off by saying that one of the great things about working at home is being around and near your family. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. My kids are with me today. My wife is here, but they like to make noise from time to time, so you may hear them. But I think it should be quiet. It shouldn't take away from the presentation at all. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here, and I promise that we're going to get through this as swiftly as possible. But also I want to make sure that I deliver to you some great usable content. Okay, before we jump into that content, let me just be clear about a couple of logistics here to start. One is that I am recording this presentation, and I'll send you a replay of the recording so you don't have to worry about taking intense notes. You're going to have access to it if you want to go through it again. Also, if you have any questions during the presentation, you'll notice to the right of the presentation there's a little box that you can type questions into. You can enter your questions in there, and if I have the ability to answer your question at the end, or time to answer your question, I'm going to get it there at the end of the presentation. If you're watching the replay, then you can still type your question in, and it will come to my phone, and I will be sure to get right back to you. Also, if you look at the pop-in tab that's right next to the question box in the live webinar or the replay, you will see a link that you can use to schedule your own personal free consultation with me. You'll see my available consultation times. Just pick one, put in your info, and I will confirm that time with you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, the question is, why Facebook? Facebook obviously has had lots and lots of buzz over the last 5 years or so, 7 years. Obviously, one of the fastest growing and most influential websites that's ever been created. Certainly with its IPO and going public and its share price kind of debacle, it's had a lot of press that maybe it doesn't want to have necessarily, but there's no doubt that Facebook has become a really important part of society and an important part of life for a lot of people. People are spending a lot of time on Facebook connecting with other people in their lives. In fact, if you look at some of these statistics, it's pretty amazing. Facebook is up to around 1.28 billion users, and of course that number is growing pretty quickly every day. So I would guess that by the time we're done with this presentation, it's going to be 1.3 billion or something. It's just amazing. If you ever growth curve of how it's happened, it's just astronomical. Now, what's more important, though, in just sheer numbers of people on Facebook is that people are really using Facebook. They're engaged in Facebook for a good chunk of their day. You can see that the average user spends, about 16 minutes per day on Facebook. I mean, that's an awful lot of time, and Facebook is something that's more and more a source of social connection and of conversation with friends and interaction with people that you don't yet know, that you're getting to know, that people are referring back to multiple times every single day. And so, I mean, they're just going back to it, spending more time on there than they do on just about any other website. Interesting as well, the average age of a Facebook user rose to about 38 in 2010, and it used to be that Facebook was considered to be, just like a kid's thing. When it first started, there was younger users using it. It was just for college students, and in fact, Facebook did start just for college students at Harvard. So there is truth there, but it's interesting to see that the average age is actually getting up near 40. On Facebook, there's every kind of demographic, so no matter what demographic you are selling to as a business, you will find it on Facebook. It's also interesting to see that users have about on average 300 friends each on Facebook. So by engaging with one person, you have the ability to reach many, many people through those social interactions. All right. Why Facebook? The answer is, again, Facebook really has become a part of the daily behavior of nearly 1 billion people. It's really amazing, and you have a real opportunity to reach those people and engage with those people for your business on Facebook. All right, so that's why Facebook. Now let's move on to the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook. And the first one is create an awesome page. The page on Facebook is essentially like your website. It's the house for all of your content and all of your conversations that you're having with people on Facebook. It's what people see when they come and visit your brand. And I'd like to differentiate between a page, a business page, and a personal profile. And as a business, you should go in and set up your page. So this is a company, if you haven't heard of them, called New Belgium Brewing, and they're out in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's a really interesting company. They were profiled in Inc. magazine. I think they were called the most innovative company in America by Inc. magazine. I know that they have a really amazing green approach to running their business. Their entire business is like zero impact on the environment, partially because of that and their culture as a company, and also the fact that they brew really, really good beer. They have a really, really, really loyal following. That's reflected here, as you can see, in their Facebook numbers. I mean, it's really amazing. 310,000 likes on their page. And you can see here, 29,000 people are talking about this, and about 1,300 were here, as in they actually visited the brewery. So they actually went there and checked in on Facebook and said that they were there. So it's pretty amazing what they've been able to accomplish here on Facebook. And you can see here that they put a good amount of thought and energy into making the page a very attractive page that is reflective of their brand. You can see that they've used some really nice imagery here on their main photo. And then again, complementary photos for each of the app buttons down here, and all supporting their brand. So this is a really attractive page, and it's a really effective page for them. In fact, their company estimates that its Facebook fans are responsible for over $50 million in yearly sales. So they really put a good amount of effort into nurturing that community on Facebook. So step one, you want to make a page that is worthy of your brand and that people are going to, so they're going to get the right impression when they come and visit. And the number 2 tip here is post photos. According to Facebook's own research, photos and videos generate significantly more engagement than other post types. You can see here in this graph provided by Track Social on the left-hand side is photos, and you can see that the engagement is by post type right here, which is what the graph is. It's highest for photos over here, and then it starts to go down and to the right there. So photos by far, they're the number 1, and then questions, and then status updates, flash videos, and then just links. You can see again that photos really are the high engagement content that you can put up on Facebook, and they're the things that are going to really matter. I mean, what you're trying to do is get people to stick around and interact with your posts and interact with you and your page, and photos are the way to do that. Okay, now tip 2A. You want to go big with your photos. Facebook, as I'm sure everyone is familiar with by now, they made their big timeline change. And as a part of that, they allowed you to go really big with your photos in your posts. And it's a really great marketing opportunity to take advantage of in Facebook. If you have dramatic imagery, humorous images, anything like that, you can include as a part of your marketing, then, or as a part of your brand, then you definitely want to take advantage of it by going big with your posts on Facebook. And this is what's called a milestone post. A milestone post, again, is one that takes up the full space of your Facebook page in terms of width, so that is really showing off that image. I think this is something like 800 by 400 pixels, so you got a lot of real estate to work with there, and they're very, very engaging. So tip number 3 is open up about yourself. And what I mean by that is that data has shown that the more personal in nature that your posts are, the more engagement that you're going to get, and the more likes that you're going to get. So you can see here a graph that shows like percentage. It's tracking the like percentage based on the self-referential words and the number of self-referential words used in your posts. Man, that's a tongue twister. I can hardly say that. On the left-hand side, you'll see that if you're using one self-referential word and then over to the right 15, and you can see the like percentage goes up. When we say self-referential, what I'm referring to is posts with I and me. So again, they're perceived as being more personal, and on Facebook, people like that. They like that personal engagement. They don't want to feel like they're just being marketed to by a brand. So as much as possible, if you can introduce the personal stories of the people in your business on your Facebook page, then you're going to be better off than just marketing as a brand. All right, number 4, be relevant and be useful and be purple. If you've ever heard of the book Purple Cow by a very, very famous marketer named Seth Godin, then that's what this is referring to. It's essentially, you want to stand out. You want to try and find a way to be creative and unique on Facebook so that your posts don't just get lost in the woods, and they don't get lost in the floods of status updates that are out there. And there's a lot of them. I mean, users typically have the option of looking at around 1,500 status updates on their newsfeed daily, which is, I don't know if anybody, there's probably maybe 1 or 2 people out there that actually reads every single one of those. But anyway, you want to stand out, that's the whole point. Some specific tips are topical content gets traction, and fill in the blank posts. So if you've ever seen these before, it's where you say, hey everybody out there, fill in the blank. You start a sentence off and then leave part of it blank, and the other people can fill in that blank, in their comments, and that gets a lot of interaction. And you got photo caption contests, open questions, so asking people open questions, anything where you can provide specific tips or shortcuts or hacks that people can use. Those are very, very popular. Excuse me. Grab a drink here. Quotes are very popular as well. After talking for a little while, my throat starts itching and start coughing quite a bit. Okay, let's move on to number 5. Run contests and promos, and this is something that has really taken off on Facebook. Facebook, because of its social engagement, can be a really fantastic way to get people into groups, into some sort of contest or promotion. They can share the contest with their friends and participate in that contest with their friends, which just makes it that much more interesting and engaging to them. So you can run sweepstakes. You can offer coupons where people get benefits from sharing those coupons with their friends. Run photo contests, essays, video contests. contests where you're letting people choose this versus that, choosing their favorites and voting on their favorites. You've probably seen a lot of businesses run contests like voting on your favorite sports team. Um, you know who's going to win tonight's big game. You also see restaurants letting people vote on their favorite food item from their menu. Now, these type of things are just really engaging with people. And again, that's what Facebook is all about. I mean, you want your marketing to be engaging, to drive interaction with people, not just be somewhere where you're posting something for them to read. You want them to interact with you, and that's how you really get those tight associations with your brand. There's a specific recommendation down here. There's an application, a company called Wildfire app, and Google bought these guys. It's a platform that allows you to run contests and promotions on Facebook, and it gives you all the systems and even training and legal documentation and things like that to help you run a successful contest or promotion through Facebook. And I mentioned that there's there's a legal part of this, and that's actually very, very important on Facebook. Facebook has become they have very clear, strict rules about what you can and can't do with contests and things like that on Facebook. So you do need to pay really close attention to that. And that's why it's great to use a tool like Wildfire app, because they can take away some of the mystery around that, and tell you directly what the best practices are, so that you can stay within the legal limits and stay within Facebook's limits as well. So that's number 5, run contests and promotions. All right, number 6 is make it worth their time. Especially as a brand, as a company that's trying to market on Facebook, you're already put in a little bit of a lower position in people's mind. On Facebook, again, people don't want to feel like they're being marketed to. So generally, companies are looked upon a little bit less favorably than just normal people are. Facebook is where they want to engage and interact with their friends and family primarily. However, companies that do a good job of driving interaction, they will get huge enthusiastic followings on Facebook. You just want to make sure that you're putting that what you're putting out there is worth their time. This is a pretty funny quote from a gentleman, Andrew Blakely, writing a blog out there on the web about Facebook. It says, "This morning, my yogurt told me to find it on Facebook. It didn't tell me why. It just told me to find it. Why on earth would I want to find a yogurt on Facebook? It's a yogurt." It's pretty funny. A lot of companies, in their desperation to try to be current and make sure that they are relevant on Facebook, they have kind of missed the boat in their approach. They're just kind of throwing stuff up there, or maybe seeing things that they've seen other companies do, and they're not really thinking through how they can make that content and that interaction worthwhile for the people that are taking the time to visit their brand. You've always got to answer that question, what's in it for the user, or what's in it for the visitor? You can't just think about what's in it for your brand and the goals that you're trying to accomplish. You've always got to try to make it about the person on the other end of that equation. So make it worth their time. Actually, here's tip 6A, directly related to that, is make offers that they can't refuse. If you're going to implore somebody to visit your page, make sure that the experience is a good one and a fun one, and that they have some potential for a reward in doing that. Now, it doesn't always have to be this extreme, but this is a fantastic example from a company called Timbuk2. By visiting their page and liking them, you are included in an opportunity to win a bike, a helmet, a messenger bag, and a number of other goodies there for your summer park kit. And this offer is made to about 100,000 newsletter subscribers. They emailed this offer out, and then to the people who liked them. They had their email addresses, and it received a huge number of click-throughs versus their normal content that they just put out there without offering, something that's going to really be great for the visitor. So obviously people love free stuff. They love it, if there's a contest that they can feel, they feel like they can actually win. People are a competitive bunch, so do things like this. Doing things like this can really make it feel like it's worth the visitor's while to give you their attention and to like your page. And that's what it's all about. How can you create good incentives and make them offers that they can't refuse? All right, let's go on. Tip number 7, post in the early evening and on weekends. Now this graph here shows you the percentage likelihood of a post being shared depending on when it is posted. You can see here that the high point on this graph is somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. and it kind of dives off there as you get later into the evening. And it kind of builds throughout the day. This is pretty important. Obviously, to post content when people have the time to actually view that content immediately, that's going to get you the most interaction. A post that happened throughout the day, if they can't check throughout the day, they're going to get buried. Like I was telling you before, there's 1,500 to 2,000 posts in a news feed during the day. So people, they're just naturally a little bit lazy, and they're not going to go and dig through all those posts to look for something to share. So if you can time it right, you can get a lot more interaction. And the data shows that if you make those posts kind of early evening, very late afternoon, you can make those posts on the weekend, you're going to get much more responsiveness than other times. In fact, Saturdays and Sundays in some cases receive almost double the percentage of shares as posts during the weekdays. So it's definitely something to consider. All right, let's go on to tip number 8. Integrate with mobile, email, and your website. While we are very enthusiastic fans of Facebook marketing, and we believe that most businesses should be creating a Facebook marketing strategy, it's certainly not the end-all, be-all. And we don't believe that here at Memphis Web Guys. We believe that you want to communicate with your audience in a variety of different ways to get the most impact. I'm actually giving you a Facebook webinar on a Google Plus Hangout. So as much as possible, you want to try to get people to interact with your other marketing mediums while they're on Facebook. And you can see here as an example of giving somebody the opportunity to opt into your email list while they're on your Facebook page. That's a great way of capturing them into another marketing medium so that you now have the opportunity to connect with them not just on Facebook, but also in your email blasts and your broadcasts, where you're sending out newsletters and offers. Anything you can do to get people into multiple channels will give you greater success. Something that that you can do successfully on a Facebook page, you can put an SMS, a text offer that people can text your SMS platform to get some sort of offer, get a coupon, things like that. And these are the types of cross-pollination of those marketing channels that will, again, they're going to get you greater effectiveness in your marketing. And by the way, before we move on from this slide, check this out. This is excuse me, I can never pronounce this. I always do this wrong. Patagonia. It's a very famous outdoor brand, and this is their page. But look at this. This is a rock face. In case you couldn't quite see what this is, and this is somebody right here climbing up this little crack in the rock face, and that's totally scary, but it's also really, really cool. All right, moving on. Number 9 here, advertise. Facebook has what I think is the most amazing advertising platform out there. It's really unbelievable how well you can target very specific audiences and how you can demonstrate social proof in your advertisements in a way that is not found in any other advertising platform. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. So, for example, people who have liked your page or joined your group or joined an event that you're hosting, you can use connections targeting to show your ad only to people who have a connection with you or only to people who don't have a connection with you so that you can tailor your advertising based on those connections. Does that make sense? You can also target very specifically based on people's interests. So, movies that they like, restaurants that they like, topics that they're interested in. You can target very, very specifically to those things. Really, the targeting in Facebook, you really just have to get in there and explore it a little bit to fully understand it. So just trust me when I tell you that you can really hone in the targeting of your advertising so that you're speaking specifically to the audience that you mean to be speaking to. There's a famous marketing quote or advertising quote, and there are a couple of people that I've heard get credit, but the one that I know is John Wanamaker, where he says, "I know that 50% of my advertising is wasted. I just don't know which 50%." And that's true. If you're taking a full-page ad in a newspaper, well, surely a number of people who are seeing that full-page ad, they're the right target market. But there's also a huge number of people that are seeing that are not your right target market. But there's no more refined way to reach them in that newspaper. You just got it. It's just like a shotgun, a blast out there. Well, at Facebook, you can make sure that you are driving your ads specifically to that specific audience that you want to drive it to, so that your advertising dollars, your money, is going to be you're maximizing. It's very effective. It's really just an amazing platform. So, all right, let's move on to tip number 10. Reach out to fans. So as you can see here, Oreo did a really nice job here. They have a birthday of the day, July 27th, and they're promoting the birthday of one of their fans. Certainly a great way to, get engagement with people. And you can see, wow, look at this. 27 million likes, 191,000 people talking about them. Wow, that's pretty unbelievable. Just huge numbers there. Who knew people were so enthused? I'm not too much of a fan of the double stuffed because that's just too much stuff in the middle. Anyway, I digress. Reaching out to your fans, communicating to them, celebrating them, doing case studies of them, and sharing those pictures that you have with them, things like that. Fantastic strategies to really reach out and engage with them. Okay, so all right, so that was the top 10 Facebook tips, the top 10 tips on how to use Facebook to market your business. But we're not done. We have some bonus tips. And let me just grab a quick drink here and we'll jump into some more tips for you. All right. Bonus tip number 1, mix talking with listening. And this is so important on Facebook. Facebook, it's the ultimate social media platform, and inherent in that is the word social. So people want to have a conversation. They don't want to just be blasted out to. So a Facebook page should not be viewed as your pulpit. It should be viewed as a place for you to have a two-way conversation with people and to really engage with them in conversation on your Facebook site. If all you're doing is posting out and you're not letting people engage with you by commenting back and having you respond to them, then you're really missing out on the magic of social media. Number 2, invest enough time to be successful. And I know this is a challenge for a lot of people. A lot of people, unfortunately, feel like spending time on Facebook is just wasting time. But that is most definitely not the case. You have to put in some effort into it, and you will see rewards. It's not a magic button. You just can't turn on your marketing in Facebook and then just ignore it. You have to spend some time on there. There's some interesting data here. It says those who spend 6+ hours per week are almost twice as likely to see leads generated as those who spend 5 hours or less. So there's this magic line there, and that 6 hours plus is where it really starts to pay off. So you have to spend time in there, and I think that's a real important point here. So don't just give the keys to the intern to your Facebook page. Your marketing on Facebook can be valuable enough, certainly, that's that it's worth the time of the key people at your company to invest in it and understand it and make sure that your business is getting the most value from it. All right, next, automate selectively. Automation is good in a lot of cases, except when it isn't. What you see a lot of people do is that they over-automate on social media. And what I mean by automate, if you're not familiar with it, there are ways that you can create posts that work on autopilot. Basically, you can pull information from other parts of the web and automatically post it, content that you may think is relevant to the fans on your page. But a lot of people, a lot of businesses just put those things on automate, and that's what they post, on a regular intervals, and pretty soon it gets to become really apparent to anybody who is, fans or following you, that that's exactly what you're doing, and then they just feel kind of abused, and they're going to tend to unfriend you and head someplace else with, their time and attention. So yes, use automation on low priority content, but you've also got to get in there and be a real person, a real brand, a real human being, and engage with people by putting real content up there. And again, getting into that conversation with people where there's some back and forth. All right, next. All right, you want to measure your performance. One of the beautiful things about anything you're doing online is that it's very, very measurable, and it brings a whole new level of accountability to your marketing. So make sure that you're measuring everything that you can. Just take a look at what's called the Insights tab on Facebook. The Insights is where you can get all of your data about what's happening with your Facebook page, and the people who you're interacting with, so that you can start to see what's really working, and you want to tailor your strategy based on what that data tells you. And there are 4 key metrics to gauge audience size and engagement. There's total likes, there's friends and fans, there's talking about this, how many people are talking about this, which are the people that are mentioning your brand out there in the social universe. And then there's the total reach, which again, because of the social connections, that's telling you how far your brand is getting exposure out there in the social network with people who are not necessarily directly tied to you, but they are tied to the people that are tied to you, if that makes sense. That's really the power of social media marketing. So use data to help you develop your strategy and evaluate what's working and what's not. All right, those are our bonus tips. Now I'm going to go ahead and dig into some questions that came in here. I have a number of them. I don't know that I'll be able to get to all of them, but we will get to a handful. I hope you guys got some great ideas and tips out of this presentation that's going to be able to help serve you going forward with your Facebook strategy. Again, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and punch them into that box that I mentioned at the beginning on the right. And if I don't get them here today, I will follow up with you directly, and I will get that taken care of for you. So let's see here. Somebody said, I've heard that Facebook people aren't buyers. What you're suggesting is that, hey, you can market on Facebook, but don't expect to drive actual revenue directly from Facebook. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, and that goes into managing your expectations about what you're accomplishing on Facebook. It's interesting. Facebook has even said that they don't want you to necessarily be able to put out, real direct response ads and take people outside of Facebook to buy stuff from you. That's not what they see the platform to be about, and that's not what they want. They plan on really revolutionizing how businesses market to their audience over time through Facebook, and that they see it as more of like an ongoing conversation. You want to be on Facebook, engaging people with your brand and with your messaging and with offers, but they don't want the real harsh call to action marketing that you would do on your web page. So yes, you may have a harder time directly tying what you're doing on Facebook to increase sales. However, there are ways to track that to really demonstrate that you're getting a return on investment from what you're doing on Facebook. But yes, there is some truth to that. You're not just going to go out on Facebook, put an ad, and all of a sudden see the cash registers just start ringing like crazy, most likely. There are cases where that happens, but most likely it's a little bit more gradual process than that. All right, let's see here. Somebody has asked, do I still need a website or just do everything on Facebook? I'm a very small business, and it seems like it's going to be difficult to manage both. Well, that's a great question. As a real small business with limited resources, which I've definitely been there before, I understand the need to be focused and not have your resources spread too thin. But I do think that you still need a website. Facebook is incredibly powerful, and I do believe that you want to have a Facebook. But that being said, Facebook changes the rules all the time, and I don't know that you want to be completely beholden to what they're doing. I mean, the nice thing about having just a website on the internet is that you can do just about anything that you want to with it. So Facebook does have rules, and it changes those rules. I think that it makes sense to have your own separate web presence. You can also do all kinds of other things to market your website presence that may make more sense versus marketing your Facebook presence. So I think that it's a great idea to have both. If I was a really, really small business and had super limited resources and I just had to start with one, I tell you what, I would start with my Facebook today, because the built-in socialization that allows you to get the audience going, I think, will really benefit any small business. But I mean, you can start off a website on a very limited budget as well. So I don't think there's really an excuse for any business to have both of them. So let's see here. Someone says, you showed an email opt-in box. Oh, the Patagonia page. That's right. how do I do that? That's a good question. Inside of Facebook, you can build pages in there that are essentially just HTML. I mean, they're the same language or code generally that's used by websites on the internet. So you can put an opt-in box to capture email addresses on a web page. You can now do that in Facebook. Certainly that's something that we can help you with if that's the kind of, if that's kind of technical and beyond your reach there. Like I was saying at the beginning of this webinar, you can use the pop-in tab over on the right, and you can schedule a free consultation with me or JP at any time during this webinar. We'd love to help you out. Then somebody asked, let's see here, is it expensive to advertise on Facebook? No, it's really not. I mean, certainly you can spend a lot of money on there, but because the targeting that I mentioned before, because of that and how you can really zero in on your audience, there's a lot less waste compared to other advertising mediums. So no, I don't think it's expensive to advertise on Facebook. You set your budget, you set your amount that that you want to bid, and then you have a cutoff amount. So once you reach that budget, then you're done. So it's very, very cost effective, very cost effective, and it's a high return on investment platform. Okay. Let's see here. That's it for the questions. I want to make sure that you get back to your day here. Any questions that were submitted, we'll go ahead and respond to those directly. Any other ones? I appreciate everyone's time and attention. So let me go ahead and give you guys the final takeaways before we leave. Jump in there and do it. Facebook is a huge marketing opportunity. It's really just a huge missed opportunity if you aren't getting in there and diving in. Give it a shot. Yeah, be engaging, be social. As I said, engage in that back and forth conversation. Create incentives, interesting incentives for people to actually pay attention to you. It's very important in any form of marketing, but really important on the social networks. Use advertising to your advantage. Measure everything that you're doing and let that drive your specific strategies and your tactics. Make changes based on what you see, and make that commitment to Facebook. It's a massive growing opportunity for any brand. And lastly, I'd just like to say, this is what we do for a living. We help businesses market themselves online in all different types of ways. We have the foundation as a website creation company, and we've just merged into all different types of things. So Facebook is something that we've had a great deal of success in. So certainly if there's anything that we can do to help you develop your Facebook marketing strategy or to improve what you're currently doing on Facebook, if you're not quite getting the results that you're looking for, we would love to demonstrate our capabilities. So just get in touch. And you can schedule a consultation. Like I've said, you can see all kinds of ways to get in touch with us. We got our website there, and you can email me, james@memphiswebguys.com, and we'd love to engage. Get in touch with us. We have no high pressure sales pitches. We never do those. But if it's something you feel that you can use, we'd love to see if there's a good fit. Okay. I just want to say thank you again, and thank you for the time that you've given the Memphis Web Guys, out of your busy day. You know that you have a lot of things that you could be doing with your time, so I appreciate you spending the time just a little bit here with me today, and I hope that you've got some really valuable information from this presentation. Take care.